Hello, my name is David. I am your co-host for the Commitment Masterclass you've registered for. Now, I'm hoping that this video gets to you before you attend this online class Renee and I are holding, because I want to go through some stuff with you to make sure you get the most bang for your buck when you attend the class, metaphorically speaking, because the class is free for you to attend anyway. However, it's going to be a fast-paced class, and so I don't want you to miss anything. Now, ever since we opened the registration for this online class, I've been getting a ton of emails from women asking how they can get their man to feel more attraction for them, get him to want to be with her and commit to her emotionally. And so I know this could be a point of a lot of frustration and disappointment for many women. See, the reality is, getting a man to want to commit to you isn't nearly as hard as you can imagine. The problem is, of course, most women can only ever see things from their own perspective. They never get a chance to know what their man is really thinking, feeling, and going through. And, of course, most men would never articulate what it is they need from a woman in order to love her and take things to the next level with her. And this is one of the biggest reasons why we're holding this online class. We want to teach you exactly what men go through in their heads when it comes to choosing a woman to commit to. What emotional hot buttons work for men, and what types of women actually make a high-quality man want to settle down and commit. So ultimately, what you'll get out of this masterclass is the mindset and the skills to become that woman that your man adore, worship, and can't afford to lose. In other words, I want you to become totally irresistible and indispensable to your man. See, over the last few years, I've had the privilege of teaching and showing thousands of women how to show up as a high-value, high-status woman so that they can attract a high-value, commitment-friendly man. And I've had the unique opportunity to work with almost every problem you can imagine when it comes to love, dating, and relationships. One thing I've learned through all of this is that the problem never lies within you, but it lies within the person you think you should be. And when it comes to men and commitment, what you really need to do here is tap into that deeper, authentic part of yourself, that part of you deep down inside that is naturally more high status, high value, and naturally more attractive to men. So what I wanted to do in this video is to introduce you to the 3 critical pillars of commitment so you'll know exactly what is going on when you do attend our online class. But before we do that, let me ask you this. What is the difference between the types of women who have high-quality men lined up, waiting and wanting to commit to her and settle down with her, as opposed to the types of women who always struggle to keep a relationship together, keep a man's attention, and really struggle to get a man to want to be with her long-term? What is that difference? Now, what if you could become that type of woman whom men fall in love with and love to commit to by simply making a small shift in the energy you show up in? Because here's the truth, the women that men fall in love with and love to commit to are not necessarily good-looking women. They're not necessarily intelligent women, and they are not necessarily popular women whom others look up to. But what they do have in common is an energy to them that mesmerizes men, and that energy is also inside of you. So what we have to do is maybe look into how we can tap into that energy so that you can have the love and the fulfillment in your own intimate relationship. Now, remember, it's your energy that inspires a man to commit. So, if you're in a relationship right now, let me ask you this. Has your man ever paid you any undivided attention at some point in your relationship, even for just a moment? If your answer is yes, then what that means is that he has the capacity to commit emotionally to you. What you need to do is to inspire more of that from him by firstly changing your approach and changing your mindset. Because the truth is, an intimate relationship is not the focus of most men. Relationship is not a masculine domain. You see, men, and more specifically the masculine brain, isn't really wired and conditioned to think about relationships as much as the feminine brain. So I tell women that it's their job to set the rules and set the boundaries with their man and draw them into the relationship. If you leave the process of your intimate relationship and commitment up to the man, at worst it won't happen, and at best it may just come and go. But here's the real reason why you want to learn how to inspire a man to naturally want to commit to you. You see, in this day and age, a woman's reproductive timeline has changed and shifted permanently. Back when we were hunters and gatherers living in small tribes, there was usually, a short period of time when a man and a woman courted each other, and usually soon after they reproduced. Now, in the 21st century, things are dramatically different for women, and things are a lot more complicated. In order to get married and have kids, assuming you want to have kids, a woman has to filter through all the jerks and all the low-grade men to find a decent catch. Then you have some statistics that suggest less than 1 in 10 relationships ever make it past longer than 3 months. And if you make it out of that initial period, which I hope you do, then you date for perhaps a couple of years before you get engaged. Well, the average engagement is between 12 to 18 months. So you're talking about a minimum 3 to 4 year process to go from meeting a man to getting married. Of course, that is if everything goes according to plan. And if you want to have kids, it's going to be a little bit longer than that. Now, I don't know how old you are right now in this moment in time, but add 4 to 5 years to your age right now and see how that feels for you. So a woman's reproductive timeline has dramatically changed, and more than ever, it is important for you to have the understanding and the awareness and the skills to create and cultivate that special relationship, and really not take it for granted that everything will just somehow turn out okay. And this is why I want you to take the topic of commitment of relationships seriously. There are enough single and lonely women in the world. There's no need for you to join them. So with that said, let me introduce you to the 3 pillars of the commitment process. Pillar number 1, you have to understand that men are attracted to 2 different types of women, but only ever commit to one of those types. You see, whenever a man meets a woman and gets to know her, his brain subconsciously and naturally categorizes this woman as his one of many or his one and only. He's one of many or he's one and only. These are the 2 categories. Now, as you can probably guess, a man will only ever commit to his one and only and never commit to his one of many. So if you want a man's commitment, I probably don't have to convince you that you need to be his one and only. Now, the problem is that he'll chase both his one and only and one of many. So you have to know what signs to look for and know what category you're in. Because ultimately, to become a man's one and only, you need to learn the mindset and the skills of what I call high-value vulnerability. High-value vulnerability. I'm going to talk more about high-value vulnerability in our online masterclass. So that is the first pillar. Pillar number 2, you need to understand the 2 driving forces behind the commitment process. The 2 things that drive the commitment process are a sense of deep emotional attraction and a deep sense of connection. These 2 factors ultimately give men the emotional reasons to want to commit. But the problem is, most women know how to attract men on the surface. But what usually happens is that the man usually gets bored rather quickly. To engage a man's full presence, you need to have a much deeper, much more emotional level of attraction and connection. And of course, we'll expand more on that in our masterclass. All right, pillar number 3. You have to understand that all masculine men will have at least some resistance to committing to a woman fully. And so you need to have the skills to be able to lower a man's commitment resistance, lower his defense mechanism, and therefore proactively escalate his level of commitment. Because I can promise you, resistance will show up. It might be in the form of him pulling away from you for an extended period of time, or it could be him making excuses for things over and over. Some men even take pride in being non-committal. And so you need to know how to deal with that in a high value way without looking needy or desperate. So Renee and I will be talking and delving deeper into all three of these pillars in our masterclass. And also we're going to reveal the secret 3-word phrase that got one of Renee's private clients going from being humiliated and frustrated with her stagnant relationship to being literally married within 7 days. This has got to be one of the most crazy, bizarre, and amazing things that have ever happened, and Renee has an unbelievable story that she's going to share with you. And more importantly, share with you the power that lies behind the 3 simple words, and you won't believe it until you hear it. All of this will be taught in our online commitment masterclass. I just wanted to use this video to give you some adequate preparation to get your mind in the right place before you attend this class. And also, if you didn't get a chance to download the handout that goes with this online class, here's the link again below this video. You're welcome to download it, print it out, and have it with you as you attend the class. There's going to be a lot of information and you probably want to take some good notes. Alright, so I look forward to having you in our commitment masterclass. Make sure you show up at least 5 minutes before it starts because I don't want you to miss any of it. Thank you again for taking the time to watch this video. Goodbye for now, and I'll talk to you real soon.